How's it going? I felt the nudge to go live, and I realized that was something I didn't really do. And so today we'll see how this goes, and we'll see if it ends up being a normal part of the channel. So anyway, I didn't announce going live or anything, so we'll see how this goes. But I'm so glad to be here with you. Hopefully the audio is balanced correctly so that everybody can hear. We'll find out after. This is going to be a total give it a try. Okay. So I had multiple things come through this weekend that made me take down the notes. And wow. Okay, so I'm going to, one of them being go live. And so I'm going to share with you these notes. And I just thank the Spirit. We give thanks for divine revelation, for alignment, for deeper roots and brighter blooms. We give thanks for being able to actually break the chains that hold us back so that we can step into the fullness of our divine identity. Yes, let it be so. Let it be so. Ride the wave. This is definitely kind of like the vibe that I'm feeling right now. And we have, got chills coming up. We have a huge full moon in Virgo happening on 13th, 14th, depending on your time zone. And it's also a lunar eclipse. So I'm expecting to get so many downloads, because typically during the lunar eclipses, for whatever reasons, my intuition abilities is heightened, super heightened. So I'm really excited, and I also invite you to just be aware of it. Check out some videos that are put on by maybe some other YouTubers and creators who know more than I do about it, but it's a very big opportunity for a shift, a big opportunity for a portal during this full moon, this lunar eclipse. So it's just the crazy amount of alignment for it to be a lunar eclipse, for it to be a full moon, for it to be while Venus is in retrograde, and just huge, so much Pisces stuff happening, going on, you know what I'm saying? So anyway, there's so much. So welcome, and I'm gonna go over the notes that I got this weekend, and chances are I may do more videos on these, more extensive videos, but I just felt the nudge to come on live and to to come on here live and to share what I got. Okay, so you'll see I actually am doing a replay. Please let me know if you end up seeing those replay series served up in your feed. So one of them is when I had all of a sudden, this was last summer, I had this revelation that wait a minute, wow, and now it's back. Okay, well that was weird. Welcome to the live chat. Yep. 3:29. That's so weird. It just went black and the timestamp stopped, and now it's rolling again. So here we are. Okay, so I was given this revelation by the Spirit a couple months ago, or it might have been years by now, just saying, how, for example, there have been people groups in time that have stolen from lineage. Let's say we could, liken it to, let's say slaves that were brought from one country to another. Let's say the Native Americans, and people moved into the land and just kind of snatched it out of their hands, and they were like, you'll be happy with this little chunk of land, right? That's fine with you, right? So it was being illuminated to me that there are inheritance that we can spiritually, through the miracle of the quantum field, through the miracle of the observer effect, through the miracle of the tetelestai paid in full finished work, that we should be energetically calling back things that have been stolen from us from our lineage. And when I had that revelation, I was just thinking in this realm, on this timeline, in terms of me, my physical vessel here right now, and my mom and my grandma and my great grandma. I was thinking of this lineage right here, right now. But this weekend, it came to me that not only should we be calling that back, but we should also be calling back the ancient inheritance from all realms and dimensions. That there might be external realms and dimensions in which we have been robbed spiritually and or in material ways, that we should be calling back and calling forth the restoration of those things. So I had a video on that with a journaling prompt that should be releasing very soon here. I think it's coming out on the 15th, so mark your calendar. And it's a replay video from that original revelation that I got. So next, and there was a journaling prompt about how to do that. I'm also working this particular practice. I will record a guided meditation, visualization, activation through my Ascension program that's releasing next month, April. It's called Alchemize, and it's an Ascension coaching program. And it is following the SeedSoilWater guidelines, the deeper roots, brighter blooms, tending to the subconscious, which is like the soil, uprooting the weeds of the past that are just taking up precious ground, precious nutrients in the soil, tending to the soil itself, nourishing it, and then replanting the seeds for what we want, which is all these manifestation tools, visualization, scripting, guided meditation, subconscious reprogramming, body somatic work, scripting with strategy. So anyway, if you're interested in what I'm talking about, go ahead and leave a comment, and also go ahead and opt in through the free weekly workshop link, and I will reach out to you via email, and you can set either an appointment to discuss this, or we will just get you the link to sign up. So that's starting in April. Also starting in April is the Identity Shift, which is a 2-day workshop where the Ascension program is going to be longer. It's going to be a multiple week total life overhaul kind of program. The Identity Shift is a 2-day workshop on April 8th and April 9th at 9 a.m. Pacific time, both days. And it's going to be about an hour on both days. And the whole point is we're going to quantum leap into your next level self by reprogramming the subconscious paradigm and using these principles, scripting, revision technique, law of vibration, law of assumption, write the vision, make it plain. And so anyway, what's included, this is the best part. So you're going to generate your letter, and then which is your scripting letter, which is like, I am so grateful now that, I feel so this now that. And then we're going to use that to create chakra-informed affirmations. So it's a step beyond just the I am, because the chakras are energetic systems within our being, and they each have different powerhouses in how they express and how they exist. So in order to have a full total change, we have to adjust each power system. So we're going to have our scripting letter, then we're going to create those affirmations, and then you're going to send them to me, and I'm going to record them and put them up against a supportive track, 818 as I looked up, a supportive frequency track, and which, there's so much power in sound. Everything is waves. So sound waves actually support who you are, what you're doing, and they can support this manifestation time. Okay? So those are the only 2 announcements that I wanted to give. Let me see what else. And I wanted to give this example. We were planting plants this weekend, and I got some tiny, tiny little slivers, and it was wild how the tiniest of slivers made the biggest pain, and my mind wouldn't let it go. It was like, there's a sliver right there, there's a sliver right there, and I had, and then I had to search for it. It's so tiny, I had to search for it, and I was just realizing this is exactly what it's like also in the subconscious mind. When we have those weeds from the past, which could be trauma, it could be experiences that you had, or even experiences that you've inherited through lineage. Ready for the next thing? The next thing was talking about the energetics in which you were conceived in the womb, and also the energetics atmospherically of what the familial or cultural or even financial, what the energetics of the realm was that you were conceived into. Trust me, this is huge, getting into I'm oh my gosh, but it also was another level of these are things that we need to acknowledge in order to purge, and in order to get into alignment with whatever was fully intended for you. Okay, so so that tiny sliver, huge pain, the same type of thing can be in our, and it also like, you know, it was distracting. It was like I couldn't move on until I got that tiny little sliver out. And so the same things happen when we have subconscious root systems that are not serving us anymore. You know what I'm saying? And so this is the work that is to be done. And if you find yourself magnetizing, you're like, I keep reliving the same problem, I keep magnetizing to the same situation, I keep reliving whatever it may be, then subscribe, stick around, consider the workshops, and like, this is the work that we do here. Okay, so let me see if there's anything else I want to save with this video. Okay, the rest I'm going to save for other videos. I have manifestation hacks. I'm going to do actual designated videos for those. So let's see what the message is for the people today. Spirit, come through. Thank you for the message. Thank you for giving us deeper roots and brighter blooms. Thank you for giving us a timely message for what is meant for us right here. This one's jumping out to me. Awaken. Look at that beautiful scene. Shout out to one of our collective members for this amazing deck. It's a dream rituals deck that's all about kind of like, it's all like based on the moon cycles, which is so awesome. So yeah, the root chakra, totally what we're talking about here. The root chakra has everything to do with stability, security, even like home life. And so it's like, this is circling back to what I was just talking about being aware of what the energetics were in terms of conception and familial relationships upon conception, and like at what you were like steeping in that, literally like a tea bag, you know. And so you're steeping in that environment. How did it impact you? What did it do to you or for you, or neither? So being aware, that's what this is being highlighted. And like I said, I'm going to be creating meditations or activations, or maybe some cord cutting, or I don't know what to call it yet, but I have it in my spirit what I'm supposed to create. So stay tuned, stick around. Also subscribe to the Ascension channel, which is the sister channel to this one. It's called SeedSoilWater Spa. It's an audio spa, an ascension spa, where you go to be transformed by the renewing of your mind. Okay? Because, oh my gosh, I didn't even see this. It's in the sound, because it's in the sound. That's what the creator was saying to me for like several years, before I knew anything about frequencies, before I knew anything about solfeggios, before I knew anything about sound healing or about quantum physics. He kept saying, it's in the sound. And I'm like, it's in what sound? Like, what is in the sound? You know, and I just had so many questions. It's in the sound. It's in the sound. So there's that. And the message here is that the abundance that is available to them, whoever they are, is also available to you. And when you do this work of purging the subconscious and aligning with that exceedingly abundantly, and doing mostly, you know, you have to like go face what's in the darkness in order to eject it out. Once you do that and you really do the healing work, you're chills on this, the floodgates open, and it's like things that were just so difficult to access or like were impossible to reach, all of a sudden just like become so easy. And so that is why the work is important, and that's why it's worth doing. And I also want to say this. I grew up knowing that I had gifts, and I would encounter people constantly like telling me things about myself, being like, it's bigger than you know, your purpose is bigger than you know. And I would see people see things in me, especially like prophetic people. But for the longest time, I refused to offer something that I didn't think, that I knew wasn't the full transformative offering, if that makes sense. I wasn't going to go and act like I had something to give when I didn't, because I wasn't there yet. But so I just want you to know that I finally know what it is that's worth offering. And it's these universal principles. It's understanding the healing work. It's understanding, like, I have the full formula now about, you know, pulling up the weeds of the trauma and the weeds of the scar tissue and the weeds of the narratives that aren't serving, and then tending to the soil of the conscious and subconscious mind, tending to the soul, healing the heart, you know. And then in that space you can then plant the seeds for the dream life, the celebration timeline for living the fullness, because anything is possible. But until you do all of these steps, it's like you can just dream, but you probably won't actually reach it. So anyway, I'm just so glad to be in this space now. It felt like, it got to the point where I felt like I was going to just be learning forever, which I am, but I didn't think that I'd ever actually get to the point of having something to offer. And so to be in this place is wonderful, and it feels really good. And I'm also so stoked for the clients that have already taken me up on passing along the amazing stuff that has been passed to me. So I just want to encourage you that you are rising above it. You are rising above it so that your soul's purpose can actually reach its fullness. Wow, childhood dream. Those dreams that you had as a kid, it's not just something that was like fantasy or silly, like, oh, those are just what kids think about. There are probably certain things in there that have to do with your purpose, the reason you're here, what you're here for, and don't let that just die, because it's something that's important to you. And then when you get there, you remember that humility is key, because you're gonna make it. And when you do, I'm feeling the pull to this one. And when you do, you're probably gonna be able to, you know, like that, brush your shoulder off, but instead you're going to remain humble, and you're going to be crowned in your greatness, in beautiful humility. Star bathing, crystal grid transmission and activation. That reminds me totally of what's going to happen during this lunar eclipse. It's definitely a great time. I was hearing that this is going to be a great time to release things. So it's like, really think about what you're releasing, letting go of it, and like setting it to rest once and for all, purging it up and out once and for all. I'm like really taking advantage of my next session, my Reiki session, which is like purging, and we do energetic purging. So if you don't know what this is, you should definitely look into it, because are we back? Looks like we're back. Are we back? There we are. Are we back? Okay, thank you. So lifting the veil. Okay, this is totally the mission and the work. Questioning everything, anything unaligned must go. One of the greatest lessons that I learned is that if somebody within themselves has a level of pollution within their own energetic field, no matter how great my intentions are, or no matter how good I want for them, if their internal state is polluted to a point where they can't receive at this level, it doesn't matter how great my intentions are for the relationship, it won't work. So only you know how the people, this is one of those phrases where it's like, people can only meet you as far as they've met themselves. That's like a surface level version of what I'm trying to say. It's like, if you internally have not done the inner work, and it's work to face your darkness, to face your trauma, to face the things, and you're just living on the shallow, it's like, and then there's these root systems of trauma, turmoil, false self, you know, false sense of self, then it's like, it doesn't matter how many relationships somebody encounters, or how many good intentions or good opportunities, it doesn't matter. So much of the work has to do with, so much in relationships is a reflection of what somebody's done on their inner work, okay? So you've got the love. Wow. Okay, sorry. Some of these cards are new to me, so I'm still like learning them as we go. You got the love, and this is exactly what I'm talking about. Codependency and boundaries. You can have the best of intentions for a relationship or for a person, but if they haven't done their own inner work, then it is not going to ever change. And same with for us personally. like if you've had the experience where you're like, I break up with somebody because I can see everything about it that I don't want, but then I go and I somehow magnetize to the exact same type of person. It's the same energy in a different person. So this is why the inner work is so important, which is a segue why the Ascension Coaching Program is here. I'm going to teach everything that I've learned in terms of uprooting whatever's in the subconscious that's just taking up space and that's magnetizing to the wrong thing. And then tending to the soil of the subconscious, tending to the body, tending to the mind, and then also planting the new seeds where we're actually setting intention, setting clear. Write the vision and make it plain so that those who read it may run it well. The observer effect tells us that the electrons, this is quantum physics talk now. I went from Bible to quantum physics, so hopefully you speak one or all of those languages, but the observer effect is it's an experiment that shows us that the electrons are actually responding to being observed, which means they have consciousness. And so when the word says that all of creation awaits for the revelation of the sons and daughters, all of creation is awaiting for us to realize that we have dominion on such a level that our thought forms are actually directing the electrons around us to get in line with whatever we're pointing. And what the catch is that we're actually always pointing them to something. And this is why it's so important to do the inner work to make sure that we're not sending out mixed signals according to our own misconceptions, according to our own wounding, according to our own missteps, trauma, whatever it may be. Okay, so, woo. Okay, so this next card is Activated Earth. Power places, ley lines, and trust where you're led. Okay, so if you're here, trust that you were led here for a reason. And I am so grateful for you. I pray for the collective unceasingly, without ceasing. Wow. Okay, this is the card that jumped out to me. Approve. This was saying, and look at that giant full moon. Obviously, the full moon that we're going to have is going to be an eclipse. But wow, what I'm hearing, and I'm sorry, like, wow, what I'm hearing is that whatever you intend to release on that day and whatever you really set out to release is going to be approved. So be intentional. Take some time between now and the 14th to write down, like, I now release, I now disassociate from, I now cut off, I now cut ties with, I now choose to release and let go of all of this. And the sky is the limit. There's no limit. The sky's the limit. Is that their way of telling us that the firmament is actually a dome? Is that their way of saying that? And we've all just adopted it and we keep repeating it. Isn't that funny? The point is, there's no limit to what you can do. The whole point of Christ consciousness is that it's finished. You can transform into the fullness of your divine reality. You can quantum physics supports this, that there's like billions of timelines that are happening at the same time, and that we're tuned into a certain frequency, the same way that you turn into a radio, the way that you tune into a radio station, that there's the way that you tune into a radio station is the same way that we attune to the revelation, and that's what our life is going to kick back in the 3D. There are indeed spiritual things that have to be dealt with and adjusted, and so I speak a hedge of protection over this message. I declare and decree that it will reach every single person that it's meant to, and I declare and decree that the divine assignment, the divine identity of every person under the sound of my voice here and evermore will indeed come to manifest in accordance with their free will and in accordance with the divine freedom that's available to us according to the finished work. Let it be so. And so it is. And peace is the portion. Peace is the portion. 23 reduces to 5, which is the last year. It's the last number in the year this year. Feathers might be significant, and of course the dove. I'm feeling the nudge right now just to intercede. I just declare and decree that every person under the sound of my voice and every person that has ever come under the sound of my voice will have an encounter with destiny in a way that will activate and that will allow for the fullness of their divine identity to be activated. I just speak healing over every person under the sound of my voice. I declare and decree that every cell of their being is now being neutralized and being made whole in a way that allows for the fullness of their light to shine through. That the projector screen of their being would no longer be blocked by those imprints of trauma, those imprints of pain, those imprints of lies or like disgrace that has been following them, but rather that it would be wiped clean so that the screen is completely clear and that the fullness of light would project, and that the only thing that would come through the projection of their being is their divinity and their divine identity, their wholeness. Okay. And so it is. And so it is. So it is. Let's see what this one. Yes, I got that. Wow. Okay, I get it. There was one that was stuck to the box, and at first I wasn't sure, but now I know. Blood angel. I speak a hedge of protection over the very blood. And we speak in alignment with the blood that resurrects, restores, and transmutes. Whew. Whew. In the midst of the darkness, a moon appeared with its brilliance. Stepping down from the clouds, it glanced at me. Like a falcon that hunts a bird and steals it away, it captured me and flew back to infinite space. As I looked for myself, I could not find me, for my body had become all soul in the tenderness of love. The 9 spheres of heaven dissolved in that moon as the ship of my existence drowned in the sea of love. Do you dare place a limit on how much life you can contain? I pour of myself into your heart and invite you to become nothing and everything with me. Let us be the sunrise that greets the new day and the sunset that honors the dying of the day in radiant glory. Let us be the angel of light arising from darkness and the starburst in the awakening heart of a human, the beloved. Be the moon at the back of my heart and the sun at the front of my heart. Be wordless and wise. Let us have nothing that we know for certain and be content. Let us be all, and let us be nothing. Let us be. You are being given the gift of more life. You may experience this as growth, expansion, more energy, more life force, or divine electricity circulating through your system. So yes, we speak a hedge of protection, and we decree the blood of restoration, revitalization, revitalization, rejuvenation, reignition, restitution. And so it is. Be blessed, be well, be free, and I'll catch you on the next one.